Do you feel like you're spending 90% of your time on the things that only contribute to about 10% of your actual goals? Well, it's what I call the executive trap. You're paid for your vision, but you're being utilized for your troubleshooting. Now, in the next few minutes, we're going to map out exactly what's tethering you to what I call the engine room. And what I mean by that is those operational fires that feel urgent, but they're actually keeping you playing small. We're going to stop you managing the chaos and then identify one specific decision that gets you back on that bridge to steer the ship. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why your time's been hijacked by the how and have a clear plan to get back to the why. And that is reclaiming your role as the strategist that the business actually needs from you. If you're new here, my name is Penny Wood, and I help senior leaders and executives bridge the gap between having a seat at the table and actually shaping the direction of business using the Master Move method. If you're ready to move out of the operational weeds and start driving the agenda, hit subscribe and join a community of leaders who are done with the status quo. Okay, let's dive into our first topic. First of all, I want you to take a second to actually get to the bottom of what's going on. Now, most leaders feel what I call a constant low-grade friction that impacts their working day. You know that you should be working on the 3-year strategy, for example, but your inbox is screaming to you about a 3-hour problem. Now, that friction is a signal for you. And using phase 1 of my Master Move method, the audit phase, I want you to map it out. Grab a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On one side, list your current pressures. So those are the meetings, the fires you're fighting, the stuff that's actually eating up your calendar today. Then on the other side, I want you to list your real concerns. Now, that's what I call your inner friction. The big picture, those things that keep you up at night. Now, what you'll usually find is that they don't match because you're pressured to attend back-to-back meetings, but your real worry could be, for example, your friction could come from knowing that your team isn't ready for the next quarter. And the gap exists because you've slipped back into being that safe pair of hands again, doing the work instead of leading it. And what I want you to do is to be really honest with yourself and audit that noise. Is the pressure to be in the weeds coming from your boss, or is it coming from your own fear that things will fall apart if you're not there to catch them? You have to find the truth about what's actually stopping you, because once you stop guessing, that tension stops being, the huge weight on your shoulders and starts being a roadmap to get you back on track to where you belong. Now, once the audit's done, we move on to phase 2, which is identify. This is where you map out the potential opportunities. We're looking for one thing, and at the executive level, your value isn't found in doing dozens of small improvements. It's found in 1 or 2 massive shifts for the organization or your department or your team. Think about where your organization is right now. Where's the biggest gap between where you are and where you need to be? Is it a cultural issue? Is it a product or a market fit problem? Is there a lack of clarity in the leadership? Now, identifying the biggest impact point requires you to ignore the urgent to find the important. Now, imagine you have a magic wand and you could change only one outcome this month. Which one would make everything else fall into place? That's where your master move lies. For many senior leaders, that one thing is reclaiming the narrative with their stakeholders. Think about it. If you're spending 40% of your week justifying your team's progress to the board or a client because they don't really trust the data that they're seeing from you in the team, you aren't leading, you're defending. You're stuck in the engine room doing reputational repair instead of being on the bridge really driving the strategy forward. Now, if you fix that one reporting loop or build that one key relationship so they stop looking over your shoulder, all that defensive busy work just disappears. You stop answering the same status update emails and you start having those high level conversations that you were actually hired for. Now, that's where you find your master move. You need to look at your world through that lens. Now, if you don't address that lack of trust or whatever it is, that broken reporting line today, will you still be spending your Fridays writing justification memos in 6 months' time? Well, I don't want that for you, okay? So now we move on to phase 3, which is all about execution and what I call the precision pilot. You've identified the move, now you've got to implement it, but do it in a controlled way. Don't announce it. Obviously, it's not like announcing a massive reorganization. Instead, pick one high stakes interaction, a strategy session or a one-to-one with a key stakeholder, and execute your move there. The tracking part of this step is vital. When you do it, you've got to monitor it and adjust it. How did people respond? Did you feel more in control or less in control? Usually when you pull the trigger on a master move, there's a moment of kind of what I call implementation shock. Things might feel a bit messy for a second because you stop doing the old way, the old tasks and the old way of behaving, but stay on course, okay? Adjust that move if you need to. Maybe you need to provide more clarity to the team as you step back. But don't stop. Keep that momentum forward, because this is how you prove that your master move works in practice. Now, I always say the path to the top isn't a straight line. It's a series of master moves. And if you've identified a pattern of behavior that you know is holding you back, click the link in the description and watch my master move executive summary. It's a short briefing where I lay out the full framework that I use to help executives to release that handbrake, move out of the operational weeds and start driving the agenda in the bridge. Now, maybe you're ready to execute right now with me and you want to partner with me straight away to help you get out of that executive trap. Now, you can do that by booking a master move strategy call with me, and you'll find the link for that in the description below as well. Now, if this resonated with you today, I'd really appreciate it if you give my video a like and also hit the subscribe button to join me here on my channel. And with that, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.